ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Captain Frank Hawks. I think I owe you guys a little bit of an apology because for weeks and weeks and weeks now, there has been no content. And I owe you an explanation on top of an apology. So first of all, I'm sorry that the regular weekly content just flat dropped off. First of all, ran into a little bit of a head. Things around my house started to get busy. Uh, School started to get busy for the kids. My wife's work, as it does around this time of year, started to get busy, and I I have not had a lot of time to make videos. My kids are now homeschooling now. School was open for a little while, but I don't know if school will reopen post Thanksgiving vacation. There was a COVID scare. Somebody in my daughter's class caught it, or at least showed signs of it. I don't know whether or not they tested and they were fine. We've had a lot going around the house. So, essentially speaking, not exactly a lot of time to make videos. Saturday night is usually a time whenever I get after midnight done. I do some editing and stuff like that. But for the most part, I dedicate that time to myself. And now Thursdays and Fridays are not exactly available. The kids are home, and I don't need them bouncing around back and forth in front of the camera. So I'm going to be fairly clear. I'm not going to make any videos up to about around post Thanksgiving. So after Thanksgiving week, that following week, I ought to be able to put out content. But I'm going to need you to be patient and to trust me. I will always put out content. It's just I may need to reevaluate how I put out that content. I have always, if you go back through the history of my videos, I have always consistently had trouble over the holidays putting out videos because I'm spending time with my family, and that's okay. So here's how we're going to look at this. I will put out as much as I can post Thanksgiving. It may be post dated, a lot of it. I will cram in as many videos as I can, and those will have to be the videos. I'll take 2 weeks and I'll try to make as many videos as is possible to sustain you until Christmas. Okay? It's either that or I'm going to have to find time to make stuff for you. And I know from the positive response of the Astaria video that a lot of you are eagerly awaiting the next Astaria video. Well, here's the deal. Astaria is a game that I like a lot. So about 20 years ago, doctors started telling me I was going to die. Okay. And I said, well, fuck that. And I started work on a project to keep me going, to keep me occupied. That project was my own personal tabletop role-playing game. I built it from the ground up. And what I mean from the ground up is it is not based on some other tabletop role-playing game. I built it from scratch, system and everything, and I tried several systems before I got to the one that I like. And I have found, mostly due to the fact that I've started watching Critical Role, which I didn't even know existed. And so I found that and was like, okay, what's this? Let's go over here, start from the very beginning of the first campaign, and watch everything because it was amazing to me. And something I have been kicking around doing is doing something similar on a more low budget level because, mind you, I don't have the budget with a group of players, but we would have to do it on Skype or something, and that becomes infinitely more difficult and far less entertaining because let me tell you how I feel. How I feel is during all of this COVID bullshit, I don't have the regular opportunity to just sit down and run a game with a bunch of players, which means there's a niche that is not filled. And so I debated that for a little while, but the truth of the matter is Skype gaming is so difficult. I think I've made it through like a session once. So that idea went out the water, and it's been a series of ideas like that. Just can't come up with a decent concept for content, and I'm fairly frustrated about that. But anyways, we're going to be doing. Honestly, I was thinking about doing like recording all of the stuff that I'm making for Thanksgiving, but I don't think that'll work. You know, my kids absolutely have to be involved, and I'm like, but we'll get back on the ball. It may take a little while, but we'll get back on the ball. But as far as my own tabletop role-playing game is concerned, Istaria is very akin to my own creation. And because of that, it's very precious to me. Istaria is very precious to me because it reminds me that there are other people in the world who think the same way that I do. I personally feel like Astaria could do with a little work in certain areas. But, you know, so here's the deal. We will start back up post Thanksgiving, more than likely the week before Christmas. No content, or at least we're going to try to do all of this, okay? It really depends on what happens, and I'll try to keep you apprised. But the day after, well, not the day, but probably the week after New Year's, we ought to be able to get right back on content. We ought to. We'll see. Anyways. Man, I had so much I wanted to do too. I'm kind of looking at it in front of me right now. I have notes. Had this whole comedy thing that I wanted to do with Stranded Deep because, that ended poorly. Anyways, I will keep you apprised. We will see what happens. Please be patient with me. Have fun. Be safe. Take care of each other. This is Captain Frank Hawks, and I am signing out.